Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Debug Lounge, our swanky new show about interviewing game developers like you about what they're working on, what they're passionate about. Today we have a group of guys who have, I guess, gotten a lot of notoriety from where they're from. We're going to talk about that and get started in that. And that is Nicolas Gallo and Ryan Foster. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome.
No, thanks,
Cool.
guys.
All right, yeah. So I guess just to get things started, could you guys tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what got you guys got into game development, and what got you started, and working on the project you're working on?
So I was tired of my retail job. I wanted to actually use my brain a little bit, and so I love computers, and I found a cool program at a community college here, and went for it, and just applied myself real hard, and now I teach video game design, and I make video games, and it's more fun than I expected.
Definitely. I'm actually an electrical engineer. I work for a private aviation company in town. I met one of our other co-founders, Cody Harriman. We were taking MBA classes together. We started chatting about our love of video games, specifically FTL, and that just kind of snowballed to where we are today. So I love, he is a professor of Unity, and we use Unity to make our games, and it's awesome. It makes it, it's as fun to make games as it is to play games.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So today we're going to talk about one of your games, Riverfest Sunny Days. Do you want to expand on that? Tell us about your game, like the topic, style.
Definitely. So we do video game marketing. We're marketers. Instead of making TV advertisements or radio advertisements, we use video games. So we wanted to promote our city. So we wanted to make a game about our city. So we went to the board of festivals, Wichita Festivals Inc., and we spent, I don't know, maybe a week trying to get to the CEO of the non-for-profit to pitch them the idea of making a game. But we went to them maybe 2 weeks before this, like the biggest event in Wichita happens. And so they kind of brushed us off. And so we bugged them and bugged them and bugged them until they said yes. So we spent 13 hours, because we had 13 hours before the first day of the festival. So we made our game in 13 hours, and so it's just a simple game where you're a sun, and you dodge storm clouds and tornadoes and other Kansas-oriented, weather disasters, and you just try to rank as many points as possible so you can compete with other people in the festival. So we have a back end and a front end, and so it's...
Sounds cool. Actually, on the topic of stepping back a little bit, and how you guys said you love to use Unity. What made you choose Unity? What was like? I know when you're juggling your tools, this could have been like a web-based game. It could have been mobile, or there's countless ways you could have made this game. What made you choose Unity?
We like that it's a build once, spread everywhere kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I learned C++ in college, and C# is like a better version of that. So like it was kind of a natural feeling. Brian does a lot of the music and programming, so it's nice to just put it all together and it works.
Yeah, the tool set is very easy to use, and it's all there. If we had built a web app, for example, we might have used something like Node.js, and that's all command line, and it's just more difficult for our artists to integrate in, and our musicians. Well, me and Nikki G made it today.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, I guess the easy prototyping of Unity makes it super easy for these type of things, where you have only 14 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, we did it in 14. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't have done it we couldn't have done the same level of quality if it wasn't for Unity. It would have been a little bit more jankety, as one of our other developers calls it. It's easy that it just takes any kind of format of graphics. I mean, half the graphics are in PNG or JPEG or whatever, and it all just kind of seamlessly flows. So.
Gotcha. Speaking of your.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Speaking of your other developers and musicians, it brings in the question, like, how big is your team? Like, how did you guys find each other? Are you all local? What brought you guys together around this idea?
Okay, so the company started with Cody and I, and we met in our master's degree program at Wichita State University. We met there, and then we entered a local game jam in town, and that's where we met Brian. We acquired Brian, and then we realized that we need more help, and so we we found the president of the Wichita Esports Association, and he's a really good programmer, so we acquired him, and so our team is 4 people, and we're all local. Well, I'm not local, but I live here. I live here in Wichita, Kansas. They're all local boys. So.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So, in addition to the idea of making a game about your city, why did you decide, okay, let's make this Sunny Days game? Like, how did you start it? Because it was super fast. So.
Yeah. Our first game we actually made for a local bar in town. They were a startup bar. They didn't have many people going into the door. So we loved their logo. The Hopping Gnome logo looks just like Mario. So I was drunk at a beer festival and I saw it and I'm like, man, I need to make you guys a video game. Like that's what I need to do. So we did, and it worked out really great. I mean, it really brought a lot of attention to the bar, and it's actually their reach has gone outside of the city to other cities and outside of Kansas. So we thought, like, what's a good way to promote Kansas and Wichita and specifically, and said, well, why not make a video game? And the story is just interesting, you know. I mean, it's just how many festivals have games or have their own game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was something really unique and really artistic, and something that we can explore as a company.
Yeah, I really like the approach you guys are taking, Nicholas, and that, like, you know, a lot of game developers nowadays are kind of just focused on just like, let's just make something for me or make something to make me money or do something like that. Where you guys are taking an approach where you guys are, you know, looking at other companies, looking at festivals, looking at things outside of, you know, just gamification and, you know, really applying the game development concept to things outside of just let's just make a game for money or to get on the top grossing on the App Store or something like that. So I really do like your approach. It's really interesting, and it's a different take that, you know, a lot of game developers may not even think of. Like, how can I use Unity or use game development or my chops on something outside of just, you know, focus on me or something. That's really cool.
Thanks, yeah, definitely. We were excited.
Do you make only mobile games, or you're planning to have console games as well, or PC games?
So our first game was built for a custom console. We're using a Minnow board, and it just runs on a version of Linux for the bar that it's in.
Yeah.
They got 4 Super Nintendo controllers, and so it was originally a PC game that ran on a laptop. We can and want to build everything. Yeah,
definitely. We're actually making a field game, a virtual field game. We call it Pack Wichita. We just won a hackathon in town, which is just a GPS-generated version of Pac-Man. So you'd walk around the city collecting the pellets, and it would take you to places. So it's like a way to make the commute more enjoyable or make your walk just a little bit more, you know, spice it up a bit. Yeah. And to promote certain areas, you know. So if we wanted to promote the design district, we can just put the pellets in a certain pattern, and you can go and play a game against people while you're also enjoying the scenery.
Yeah, very cool. I saw the logo on your Facebook page, and I was like, oh, Pac-Man, interesting.
Yeah.
So, what was your biggest challenge in your Sunny Days, in addition to the time, of course?
Yeah. Our biggest challenge was getting the thumbs up, actually. We spent more time trying to get approved than we did actually making the game. We spent like a week and a half almost just trying to get you're not going to get sued. Okay, you know.
right. The other thing we ran into is that publishing to the Android App Store was easy. It's, you know, an hour. Publishing to the Apple App Store was not easy. First of all, we had to track down a Mac computer.
Yeah.
And then we submitted our application, and like, I don't know, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, they sent us an email that said, we kind of have a trademark on Quickdraw, so we're going to have to send this to somebody else before we can let you on the App Store at all.
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to develop on an iOS game, like, start the application process like months early.
Start the application process before you sit down to even start developing the game. We're still waiting. This was 3 weeks ago. We're still waiting for an answer to be okay because they have other Quickdraw apps on their store. So we should be okay, but we're just still waiting. We're twiddling, we're just twiddling our thumbs.
And so one of the things we're excited to start doing is like applying to every app store there is, so we already have the approval.
Yeah. So we don't run into this with Steam or PlayStation Network or Xbox Live or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's been a complaint from a lot of developers is just getting their app submitted on the iOS App Store. We actually had a episode about that, which I'm going to recommend our listeners check out about how to get features on the App Store. But yeah, it does take a lot of effort to get your apps released on the App Store. I know Eduardo's been through that same struggle at his company too.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
So, any piece of advice that you would like to give our listeners?
Okay, before we get to the advice, just another quick question on the opposite end of like the challenges is just like what's your like proudest moment, I guess, of in your whole career, like whether it's the founding of the company, the game jams, the App Store release, what's really got you excited?
Seeing people's reaction to the games. When we go to the Hopping Gnome to play the Gnome Wars game, and you see people just like really enjoying themselves, or you see people showing off, the Sunny Days game, or the excitement that's being generated for the Pac Montano, Pac Wichita collaboration, it really wants you to do more and do better. Yeah. I mean, it really is. You feed off their excitement. You're excited for them, so it's a lot of fun. It's really awesome.
It's good.
I love, I love it when things go right and you get recognized for the things that you've done, right? The achievements are good. But my proudest moment, like the coolest moment of developing video games came at the very beginning when we incorporated our business. I was able to program anything I wanted to, and I was able to build a company to affect my city, my world, really, any way I wanted to. And so we just, like, that night, limitless power. I could do whatever I want. I kind of thought of Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. He was talking about unlimited power. That's how I felt that day.
Oh man, too funny. Cool.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see people playing your game. Even it is just play testing, but you see their faces enjoying it. It's like, oh man, this is it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool. So yeah, I hate to. There you go, Eduardo. Sorry for stealing your little thunder.
Yeah. You interrupted my question again. Yeah.
Hang up.
What's a piece of advice that you would like to give to our listeners?
Definitely don't give up on the App Store.
I would say get started. Like, it's not that hard. Just keep banging your head against the wall till it clicks.
I think it was the person who developed Leisure Suit Larry. They interviewed him and they asked, well, what does it take to make a video game? And he said, it's real simple. You just sit down in front of a computer, and in a year, boom, you have a video game. So it's just doing it and not being scared. I've wanted to make video games my whole life, but I've found other paths. Like, oh, if I become an electrical engineer, then like I could do like console design and like all these, weaving and windings. Just do it, Just download Unity and just get started, I mean, it's that simple, really.
Yeah, dive in.
Yeah, just dive in.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, books.
Yeah, thankfully for us, it's a time where making games is a lot easier, and you can publish them in App Store or Google Play, and a bunch of people can see it. You have social medias that make it a lot easier to acquire new players and get your game discovered. So this is the time.
Yeah, definitely. And to be creative like us, we're not like doing the just like regular path. We're doing something unique. We're like promoting things through this new medium, this new technology that's accessible now to everybody.
Yeah, if you feel like you're bored because you made a Flappy Bird clone, like, it's just a Flappy Bird clone. Like, be creative.
Yeah.
Make something you want to make.
Yes.
That's the fun part about video games. If you play video games, you know what you like, and you've always had ideas like, I wish I could do that. Just build that game and then put that thing in there, and then
there you go.
Profit. Or watch them play.
Excellent, sweet. Yeah, that's some amazing advice, and I'm sure it's gonna hit somewhere, or people everywhere. Like, that is some really good advice. Like, just get started, just be creative, do what you want to do what you love, and just do it. So I can't thank you enough. Me and Eduardo can't thank you enough. The whole Debug Log crew can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your experiences as game developers, as company owners, as promoters for their city. You know, it's a lot that you guys have done, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to really enjoy this episode. So thanks again, Nicholas, Brian, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys. Thank you a million.
Really appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
Okay, bye.